Good morning, I'm Maddie of Maddie Harvey Designs. I'm a knitwear designer and knitting teacher based in Edinburgh, where it's nice and sunny this morning. Welcome if you're watching live and welcome if you're watching the replay. This is my weekly Thursday video, which I call Knits and Cake for Breakfast. So the idea behind it is that I share what I've been working on this week, show you what I've been baking and do a little sort of tutorial at the end. So this week I'm going to show you one way that you can cable without a cable needle, and I'll put the timestamp either in the description box or it'll be in the subtitles that I add afterwards. If you just want to go straight to that bit, then you can do that. So these videos have come about because before coronavirus and lockdown I was hosting a weekly knit night, and I would always bake for the knit night, and then on a Thursday morning there would be some leftover cake and I would eat some of that for my breakfast. So this week I have baked a new recipe to me which hasn't quite worked out how it should have done. It's a chocolate cake, and I don't know if you can see that. It's a bit kind of stodgy in the middle, so I don't think that I beat it for long enough. I did it by hand because I was being a bit lazy and I couldn't be bothered to get my electronic beaters out of the cupboard, and I thought, well, it's got quite a lot of raising agent in it, maybe it'll be okay, but it wasn't. So I might make it again and do it with the actual beaters, and then it's got this chocolate ganache on the top and in the middle, so it's quite moist because it's made with oil instead of butter. It tastes nice, and it is nice and moist, but yeah, I think I need to try it again and just beat it for a bit longer, beat some more air into it. And it was a new recipe to me because some of my colleagues from Knitting for All, which is a company that I teach with, sometimes we did a sort of like a Secret Santa, but for February, so it was called Fabuary, and we all sent each other a little parcel of something, and it was supposed to be something that didn't really cost you anything to send, so it wasn't a sort of very onerous thing. So I received a lovely card with some knitted bunting on the card and a chocolate cake, and then inside the card was the recipe all handwritten out very nicely. So I had to try the recipe and it was really nice. So it was quite nice to do that in February. Sometimes January and February can be quite tricky months, so that was really nice to have that, and a little parcel arrived through the post. And I sent my person, I sent her a kit made from leftover yarn so she could make a cowl, an SOS cowl, and I sent her the pattern as well. So there was a variety of different things that people got. It was really lovely, and we had a sort of knit night and opened them. So yeah, so I thought, well, I'll have to try the cake recipe, and it'll taste good, but I do think I need to beat it for a bit longer next time, so I'll try it again another time. I've got my cup of coffee in my lovely paint stained mug. That was a good choice this morning. Well, I'll show you what I've been working on this week. I can't show you the main thing that I've been working on because that is the mystery knit along shawl that I am planning, and which is going to happen in May. So obviously I can't show you that because it's a secret. But I have done a bit more on my Har Shawl. So this is a shawl pattern that's in the latest issue of the Knitter magazine, which I think is 160, and I've cast on a new version of that, and I'm using mostly 4-ply. This main colour here is some lace weight, 2 lace weights held together, 1 mohair, and I'm using the Cambrian wool for the contrasts. So I'm just about, this is my last little stripe of these lace and welt bits. And then I'm going to stop and block it actually, because the original pattern is written for lace weight. So I'm doing a 4-ply one, and I've got a 4.5mm needle, and I just want to check that that's got a nice drape to it, because the welts, they're like little folded bits in the fabric, so they can be quite thick. I just want to check that that is the right needle, and that's going to give me a nice drape and it's not too stiff. And then, so this is the corner, and then you start, once you've got the full kind of width, you start doing it on the bias. So that's yeah, Har, it's called H-A-A-R, which is a Scottish word for sea mist, basically. So mist that comes in off the sea, and it's quite low hanging. We get it quite a lot in Edinburgh. You get it a lot on the east coast of Scotland. So that's, I've been working on that a little bit, and I've also picked back up my Coraline jumper that I started in 2 colours. So I'll just bend down and show you. So I have got to the point where I've divided for the sleeves. So I've done about 1 centimetre of the body. And what I've done, basically, I've cast on in the main colour, and I've done the short rows at the back of the neck. And then when I start doing the patterning, I've done all the purl rows in the contrast colour, which this is Wensleydale yarn, which was dyed by somebody who's stopped dyeing now, but it's a lovely purpley pink. And then, so that's all the purl rows are done in that one, and the knit rows are done in the main colour, which started off as this one, which is a discontinued yarn, Ramsdale by Wendy, in that it's quite a natural sort of stone colour. And of course I didn't have enough. This is the last ball, and I'm keeping that for the tops of the sleeves. But I found this, which is a yarn by Laxton's, and it's a very, very good match. So what I did for the body, I started using it and I just striped it in. So I don't even think you can tell. Maybe a slightly. The only thing that's different really about them is this is a single ply double knit, and this has got quite a few plies. So I'm not sure what will happen when I block it. I'm not sure if the single ply will bloom a bit and this twisted plied one won't. That's the only thing that's bothering me about them. But we'll see. I'm sure it won't be the end of the world. I also kind of figure that, you know, the top of the yoke is not really the bit that gets the most wear and the most rubbing, you know, in terms of bobbling or anything like that. It's more the body, isn't it, and the sleeves. So I think, you know, the top of the yoke hopefully won't get too much of that and it won't pill. And then the bottom will be more in the Laxton's yarn, and so it won't, even if it does pill a bit, it won't pill too much, because that's always the thing with single ply yarns. They do tend to pill because the fibres are looser, so they can kind of like gather together. So yeah, quite nice to get the sleeves off, because the rounds were seeming very long, because you've got all the stitches on, haven't you? And then when you take the sleeves off, it feels like the rounds are really short, which is nice. But then you have to remind yourself there's still quite a lot to go. Yeah. It's a bit of a kind of, the thing with top down jumpers is you want to get to that point where you take the sleeve stitches off and put them on hold, and then actually when you're at that point there's still loads to do. Yeah. So the other thing that's been happening this week is that my Bambra Cowl is being released on Friday, and I'm looking down here because I'm just going to pick up all these things down here so I can show you. So this is a cowl. It's done in the round, is a loop, and you join the two ends together. Here's the join. So this is my prototype one, and it's knitted in Whistlebear yarn, and this is the kit that my my online knit retreat is happening on Sunday, so this is the kit that everybody's getting with the pattern and the yarn. And it uses 3 mini skeins, so 2 is in 4-ply or fingering weight yarn, 2 mini skeins for the background colour and 1 for the contrast colour. And the pattern is going to be released tomorrow. So this is the original sample, which I still need to join because I started doing it on Tuesday, and then I realised I had made a mistake. I was making a video tutorial for how to join the 2 ends together, and I made a mistake in it, so I have to undo it and re-video that. Oh, there's somebody saying they've made a sweater with the Wendy Ramsdale. It did blue, yeah. I think it will because it's a single ply, but that's just how it is, isn't it? It'll be fine, I'm sure. Yeah, so I need to finish that one off. That's the sample. So I'm running a little competition over on my Instagram grid, a giveaway for the pattern and a little kit of the Whistle Bear yarns for you to win. And so if you go over to my grid and have a little look, you'll see a post that says giveaway Bambra Cowl kit, and that closes tomorrow at lunchtime, Friday, just before the pattern comes out basically. But if you also fancied getting a discount when that comes out, you can sign up to my mailing list, which you can either find in my social media profiles, or if you're watching this as a replay, it'll be in the description. I always give mailing list subscribers a discount, and at the moment, if you subscribe, you'll also get the SOS Cowl pattern for free. So you can probably see the patterning here is done with some slip stitches and cables. So I thought I would show you one way that you can do these cables without a cable needle, because they are slip stitches. So actually it's quite a good opportunity to kind of try cabling without a cable needle, because you have got a kind of elongated long slip stitch to play about with. So I'm just going to turn my camera around and show you a little sample that I have knitted up. So let me just turn you around. Okay, so here we are. So I have knitted this, which is what I usually do with these things, just so it's easier to see. I've done this one with big wool and on 10mm needles. I'm just trying to wrangle my phone stand here. Okay, right, let me move my cup of coffee out of the way. Okay, so I've done a contrast colour here, and I've slipped the contrast colour stitches there. And let me just grab the actual sample so you can see how that works. So along here, these are the slip stitches, and you do a little cable with them to move them across towards the middle here, and then on the next time you do that contrast row, you're going to slip these 2 stitches here, and they go back the other way, and that's what makes this sort of hexagon shape here. So this does look a little bit different, but this is basically what you do in the cowl to make that patterning. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to do the row with the contrast yarn, and I'll just get along to where I'm going to cable. Now there are quite a few different ways to cable without a cable needle, but I will just show you this one because you've got, these are elongated stitches, it makes it slightly easier because they've been pulled, because they get slipped, they have sort of stretched out a little bit, so they will stay where you want them to stay for a bit longer than normal. So what I usually do is this contrast colour stitch is going to go, it's a right leaning cable, and it's 1 stitch crossed with 2 stitches. So I'm going to take these 2 off and hold them at the back just with my fingers. Okay, and then I'm going to knit this one. Where's my working yarn gone? There it is. I'm going to knit that one, and then I'm going to pop these 2 back on. Now it is easier when you're working with bigger yarn. And what you might find is that going one direction is easier than going in the other direction. So this one actually is a little bit easier because now we just have to hold one stitch at the front. So this is a left leaning cable and knit these two. And then we can put that one back on, making sure that it's not twisted, and knit that one. And there you can see that they have swapped, and you can see that that's the bottom of one of the hexagons in the cowl. So sometimes cabling without a cable needle is really about working out a way that works best for you. So it might be that you don't you like doing one kind of cable, like a left leaning cable without the cable needle, but for the right leaning one you maybe would want to use the cable needle. So I'll just show you again what I do. I slip them over. So this is a right leaning cable with 3 stitches. So I'm going to take these 2 off and hold them at the back. So what I usually do is I slip them onto the right hand needle tip so that I can grab them with my left hand like that. Then I will knit that contrast colour stitch first. Then I will put these 2 back on and knit them. So I would say that one's probably a little bit more fiddly than this one, because you could probably just leave that stitch hanging out there. Because it's been stretched and elongated, it's probably not going to go anywhere. And then I'll just put it back on and knit. And it depends what kind of yarn you're working with. If you're working with something quite slippy, you might be less inclined to leave stitches dangling about the place. But that's one way that you can do cables without a cable needle, either sort of just pinching stitches and holding them, or by taking them off and just letting them dangle. And as I say, this is quite a good one for practicing that with, because these stitches are stretched out, so they are more likely just to stay put. And also these yarns are quite sticky. You know, the main colour is the Cheviot Marsh yarn from Whistlebear. So it is one of these yarns that will stick together quite nicely. And this is the Mohair, the Evering Bell. So that will also stay put quite nicely. So that's the Bambra Cowl. So that's coming out tomorrow. Don't forget to head over to my grid to enter the giveaway on Instagram. And if you want to get a discount on the pattern, sign up to my mailing list, which you can find in the description for the video if you're watching the replay, or in my social media profiles. And I will be back next week with another little tutorial for you. Okay, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Bye.